everyone, welcome to How Ines Rolls. So if you watched the other video, we just went to Vaughn's to go get Paul's haul. Well, today we're doing the favorite meal. Let's get started. So as you can see behind me, I have butterflied chicken. So butterflying chicken is pretty easy to do. You just kind of clean up the sides and then you just kind of take a very sharp knife and then clean it like a clean cut inside to fold it open so it'll make it thinner. The one I've noticed that the chicken that we get from the butcher is a lot thicker than the ones I buy from the freezer section. Totally fine, good sales, we love that. So I will butterfly chicken any day. So that will make it cook a lot faster. So I'm just going to leave that. Paul is going to walk in any minute now and I'll just let him season it. I already have the grill going, so it's nice and hot on the Traeger, and then we'll see what he does with the chicken. All right, we have Paul here, ready to cook dinner with me. Long day of work.
Yep.
Just walked in the door and I'm like, let's cook. So what, I've already butterflied the chicken. What is it that you're gonna put on the chicken?
I'm gonna put on the pork and poultry seasoning from Traeger.
Ooh, I don't think we use this one very often.
Not often enough, but
okay.
It's good.
So what is in that seasoning in case people don't have that rub?
Cane sugar, salt, paprika, dehydrated apple,
ooh,
onion, spices, chili pepper, honey.
All right, so I have the Traeger going, so it should be at temperature.
Awesome.
Let's do this. All right, here we go. These are butterflied, and then there's some smaller like fillet. It already smells good in the Traeger.
The Traeger is seasoned to perfection.
Do you need any salt on that?
No, there's salt in here.
Okay.
Plus, I figured we'd saute with the veggie rub.
Well, I was gonna put the veggie rub on the potatoes as well. Oh, maybe the vegetables.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Looks great. You can really see that paprika. Okay, so how long does it need to cook for?
Probably about a half hour.
Perfect. All right, you guys, we have half an hour, so I need to get going on frying some potatoes. So all I'm doing is just slicing these pretty thin, not mandolin thin, but just thin enough so that I can cook these in this pan. And I'm just gonna put about a couple of tablespoons of oil, lots of seasonings, maybe like just salt and pepper, liberally, and you'll see that I actually put it in a few times. So I'll start it and then let it fry and sizzle, then flip it around after like 5 or so minutes, get the underside done. Just kind of check on it because I want it to also be, it's like a little steamed, a little crispy. It is so good. And then I need to get my broccoli going. So let's bring you a little bit closer. All right, so you can see here, I have enough potatoes for about 6 people, which is about 8, I believe 8 smaller potatoes. So we don't really need a ton. Like, you don't want it to overflow. You want it enough to flip and have lots of room to do that. So I'm just going to liberally cover this with, because I love pepper, and you can see I put in a lot of salt. Not tons of salt, but just a good coating. So I'm just gonna leave that there for a little bit and just wait for it to good crisp on the bottom. I do have it right now on my skillet at about 420 degrees. So it's getting a nice good sizzle. So let's do something else. So I'm gonna start sauteing the vegetables. So I just have a little bit of oil, not too much, and I'm ready to make the onions and the bell peppers. All I've done is kind of just rough chop them. They're not super small because Paul likes them nice and chunky to put nice and chunky and put them on his sandwich. So we're gonna get this going. First, I like to put in the onions to get them a little bit more caramelized, and then I'll add in the bell peppers, which will be in more of a steaming saute. All right, so we're just gonna add a little bit of this seasoning that's good on the veggies, you guys. If this is, there's one seasoning that you can do, this veggie rub, oh, So good. You can see it says garlic and paprika. So good on vegetables. You just put a little bit like that, like so, like that. And then we're gonna wait and give it a little flip in a minute. All right, so it was time to add the bells. Look at how pretty that is starting to look. And I also dropped it back down to a medium flame. So we're going to just let that keep going until I think it's done. So the next thing that we're working on is just some roasted broccoli. So I have my oven going at 425. I'm just putting some cooking spray on a baking sheet, and then I'm going to just add a little bit of oil, just a tiny bit, to the broccoli, cover it with salt and pepper, and cook it for 15 minutes at 425. Let's do this. All right, so I got some salt and pepper on here and some oil, just kind of giving it a light toss. Whoa, he's trying to get away. And we're gonna get this going, and then when it comes out, we put that yummy lemon juice all over, you guys. It is delicious, so fresh tasting. You'll love it. So Paul is keeping track of all of the chicken, and pretty much I do all of the sides. So he kind of is in and out, which is really easy. But you know what? It's great to even have him in the kitchen and helping me out. So let me know in the comments if you like to work with your significant other in the kitchen. Sometimes that saying, you know, too many hands or too many chefs in the kitchen, for us it's good. So right now I'm going to start getting this other baking sheet ready for toasting up some buns. All right, so those are looking done to me. So now I'll just leave the lid on, and that rest of the heat that's in there while it cools will continue to soften these bell peppers as well. Let me show you over here what I'm doing on the baking sheet. So on the haul, we bought this gluten-free bread for Paul. So usually I make him about 2 sandwiches. Now they're itty bitty, just little pieces of bread. So what I do, let me show you up close, is I put a tiny bit of butter on there just to kind of give it a little bit more flavor. Sometimes these gluten-free breads can be a little dry, so just giving it a little bit more moisture and some more flavor. So I did get these yummy provolones from the deli, and I'm gonna just put one on every pair. So that way it'll just melt down, and it'll be a good base for all the yummies that's gonna go on top. Hey, these potatoes are looking like perfection here. So we're just gonna turn it off and put the lid on. It'll give it more like a steamed kind of effect, kind of like the other veggies, and hopefully it will keep a lot of that crisp too. Broccoli is coming out right now. Woo, woo, I gotta get my lemon juice ready. I just doused it in the lemon juice. Oh yes, this is gonna be very, very good. Very, very, very good. So we want to make sure we have it all kind of mixed in. And we are going to just let that sit and get ready for dinner. Now it's just time to start plating. Paul is about to bring in the chicken, and then we'll start slicing that up too. But it looks good, it smells good, and I can't wait to show you. All right, one last thing that I forgot to make, so I'm so glad that I remembered before I started eating, was my mother-in-law's barbecue sauce, which starts off with, I'm gonna do a 1/4 cup of brown sugar, and then we're gonna do 1/8 of a cup of the Worcestershire sauce. And then we're just gonna mix that together because we don't want any chunks of sugar in it. I mean, it might be kind of good, but I'm just saying you may want that melted in. And I'll show you, and then we're gonna add ketchup. That's it, just gonna mix that in. So it's half and half and half. Just remember that. So half a cup of the ketchup, and then we're gonna go half of that with a 1/4 cup of brown sugar, and then half of that for 1/8 of a cup of Worcestershire. It is the easiest barbecue sauce and literally one of my favorites ever. So it's got a nice sweetness to it and super easy to make. Look at those lovelies. Paul's gonna just start slicing them and we'll start eating. Are you happy with how they turned out?
Yeah, I'd like to let them rest, but we're too hungry.
Wow. Wow, look at Paul's plate. So that is the gluten-free. His is like the most like beautiful, I think. What do you think? How do these look, Ezzy? How does dinner look? Ezra's over here waiting for us. You so hungry? Well, that was one delicious meal for sure.
Indeed.
It's actually one that we would make a lot every Sunday. Well, between chicken and steaks or London broil barbecue beef sandwiches, we would kind of alternate between those two.
Mm-hmm.
And so it kind of brought back a lot of those memories right after church where we all kind of just pitched in, did a job that made the lunch ready.
Yep.
So good.
Yeah.
So thanks for doing that with me today.
Oh, it's yummy, yummy.
And that is Paul's favorite meal, you guys. Let me know in the comments what you thought about it. And go ahead.
It's like a good comfort food meal. It's like just everything is good. It's got, there's crunchy portions, there's soft, there's sweet, there's spicy, there's salty. It's just everything's good together. For sure. So give this video a thumbs up and stick around, rollers. You just never know what we'll be rolling out next. Bye, everyone.